old side chick named Bella. This is a girl who, when I was at a come down from my internet rap stage, I literally, you know, started getting back into the dating game. My main thing was giving me trouble, so I decided to branch out to other girls, and I met her online. What happened was this: she gave me her number, and I actually got results. I was older at the time, and she was 17 turning to 18. Yeah, I had that strategy multiple times, and it never works out well. If you want my personal advice, that's never going to work. And that literally, it was a lesson that taught me to move on, but it's a little more complex than that. What happened was this. She started texting me regularly like a person. She's like, oh, you're hot. And I was texting her, and she kept on telling me, oh, you are so cool. Oh, dude, we were just texting each other back and forth, and I was asking her, like, oh, what's your bra size and stuff. And so she actually told me her bra size. We were just texting. She was hella fucking cool. I'm like, do you care if I watch anime? She's like, no. And it was crazy because I kept on telling her I added her on all social media sites. We started talking. Like, we were literally like boyfriend and girlfriend, but she went to an all Catholic school. And she had a strict family, but I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I'm like, we had this thing where as soon as he turned 18, we were gonna become a couple. She's like, oh, I'll have more time when I'm 18. But you know what? I realized that that's a lie because I tried that strategy before, and that didn't work because he was hella fun and shit. We were just texting each other back and forth, like, oh, talking dirty to each other 24/7. She even texted me first in the morning. We went on hella adventures together. I was going through stress with my mom, and I was texting her. I'm like, oh, my mom's being a dick. She keeps on scolding me about getting high before work, and she's like, well, that's a pretty big thing. If you're getting high, you're going to work. And you know what? I couldn't disagree with her, but this is a story for another day. But yeah, literally, she kept on texting me. First text me, first text me, first. The only time that we didn't talk dirty is when we literally started. Is when we really, literally kept on talking dirty for a week. And she's like, I need a break. But that was only like one time, literally. It was fucking crazy. So here's the thing. I come back from the come down and I meet her at the fair. So what happened was this. She's like, oh, you're going to the fair too? I'm like, yeah. And she brought her family with her. So what happened is I come all fitted. I come prepared to see her. And I see her and she's with her family. And her dad is just looking at me. He looks at me like he's aroused and shit. I'm like, hi. But so Bella ignores me. And so she texts me behind my back. And so I tell my grandma that, and she's all like, wait, she didn't introduce you to her parents? And her excuse is, oh, I'm with her family. I'm like, I was tremendously mad. I was everything. This is the same girl who said she was about to give it to me. And you know what? I want you guys to understand. There is truth. There's 90% truth, and there's only 10% false when it comes to that crazy. Because if girls show interest, that means they are contacting you first. That means, yes, interest. But she was not ready for me to dress, I guess, like a hoodlum, but she was also nervous. You gotta understand, she's younger. You have to be very understanding about the situation because this builds up to something more. You can't hold it against her because she had a girlfriend at the time. She broke up with another guy at the time, And, I had this disadvantage. Like, why am I trying to get at these 18-year-olds, soon to be 18-year-olds, knowing that they had an established relationship and a prom date? I'm like, oh yeah, I can't take them to prom. What's the whole fucking point of me talking to them? And I learned that the hard way, but it wasn't the hard way because it seems like that at first. I say these devastating things, but you gotta understand, I'm older now. I'm expecting that to happen. I'm expecting her to have multiple options. And that's why it never got me mad. That's why she was always a side chick because I was always available. But other people started disconnecting me from her because I had a great relationship. It was so fucking funny. Every time we used to talk dirty, she used to always be like, oh, I used to be like, oh, you ain't ready for this. And she's like, bring it. Like Naruto shot. I was fucking amazed. She was hella thick, hella sexy. I was hella fucking on that shit, It was crazy. And when I blew up at FanMA 2018, I caught her. But you know what? I caught her being a phone show who she used to be. She dressed up as my favorite character from My Hero Academia, which is Shoto Todoroki. But also, She came hella fucking fitted, but you know what? I tested her. I'm like, hey, aren't you who I think you are? But and she's all like, and her friend defended her, but her friend was younger. You see what happens? You have to learn this is that when people become former selves and who they used to be, they start hanging out with younger people. You can't let that happen. It happened to me when I was younger, but you can't stoop down that low. But you know, she didn't stay at that level, and she was always there. You know what I'm saying? And the next family, she was there as the same character. So that was always my piece of ass. That's always gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you guys to give up. When you have an established relationship for a chick that's strong like that, I want you guys to understand that she will always come back. She will always show general interest, and that is one thing you can't play out. A lot of people lie to you saying that you have to let relationships play out, but that happens. It depends on the girl. You can't use that as a general segment because, like I said, it's 90% and 10%, you know? Because she's still a kid. She doesn't have her shit together. So you have to understand she is a victim of circumstances. You think if her family and all the guys who are thirsting over her weren't in the way that she wouldn't show maximum effort, you're dumb. You are completely fucking dumb because that's what happens when a girl's interested versus when she's pulling your tail. And trust me, it could seem like she's teasing you for someone who doesn't have game. No girl who texts you in the morning is just teasing you. Let that get to your head. This is the story of an old side chick named Bella.